hopefully this works, and I don't have to do anything crazy. Mute that. Good. Watch now. The experimental dye live stream is here. Chat is on, and the excitement will never end. Alpha Magnus here. I am currently watching myself on a TV, so it's a little weird. Let's switch over to the other side. Yay! Look at that. So here we've got the next batch of fun. Normally I don't try to do stuff like this with expensive characters, but I have been playing clearance chicken with additional ones of these guys. So I of course have my regular Mossman, and then I did this one, which is going to go for Zach the He-Cat. So I'd purchased that one, I think, for like $12. But finally, Walmart decided to mark these down to $5. So I bought a bunch of these because I'm going to try to do some crazy stuff. So let's get to that. First things first, I got my handy dandy heating element. See if that works. There we go. A little annoying, YouTube doesn't let me use the other cameras on the front of my phone to do a wider view. It allows me to zoom, but I can't do the wider view, which is a little bit annoying because those cameras exist on this phone. So let's get these guys away from the heating element for a minute. I've got a whole bunch of stuff I'm working on. So right off the bat, we're going to we can take a look at this. So let's put this on here. This, I believe, is that. Where did I put that now? There it is. So today we're going to be using this. This is the RIT Synthetic Chocolate Brown. Chocolate Brown. Hopefully it dyes that green just a little bit brown. The problem is I don't know how it's going to react with any of this. That's why it's the experimental dye live stream, because we might die trying here. Alexa, turn on video lights. Let's see what we got here. Point these in the appropriate areas. There. And here we go. So let's... I think I got to clean this out. So give me a second. I got to get some more water anyway because the stuff diluted. Should be enough water. Start this heating up process here. We're going to heat it up to about medium high. And then, where is, there it is. There's this. This is my, you know what, do I even need to? I may not need to dilute this. Let's toss this over here for now. pretty clear. Pretty clear. So I got my tub of fun, which I need to find glass jars that'll do this. Because what ends up happening is it dyes some of the dye collects on the side of this. Not really what I wanted. So let's pull out. Pull out this. Do a little bit of dye scraping here. Yeah, I'm going to need to add a little bit of water. Trying different times for these live streams, different days, seeing kind of when people are off. I don't think anyone's going to be sending me their itineraries, but I'd like to get some more people watching. That's better. First time I did this yesterday, didn't really have, well, did the dyeing at least, didn't really have a lot of dye in it because it was all there. And that, so, all right. Got this junk on my hands, which is always exciting. Keep that out. So previously I dyed this guy. I think I did that on a live stream, and he was messed up. So I ended up undoing the that. I've got another project that I'm going to be working on for that, but this is Destructor. I just re-dyed. Instead of dyeing him purple, I dyed him blue and then went over it with a blue wash, and it looks way better, less dark. So I'm happy with that. He will get paint soon enough. Do the final painting on him as soon as possible. All right, let's get this to a nice warm spot. Two things I do want to do. I want to get this guy out of here because we might go over him later, but I got to make the headpiece to attach it. But he's going to get dyed green, so we don't need to worry about him. And then I got Dar here, the Beastmaster, along with Oingo and Boingo. I can't remember their names. Their names or something like that. I do need to get another one of those. But I did manage to dye this all black, and luckily the stripes still worked. Just gonna paint the front of him. That's gonna be a maybe today project. So because that's the only thing he's got is just a little bit of white on the front, and of course his mouth, etc. The real reason we're here though is for Beastman, or Mossman, I guess, dyeing that, because if I can dye this brown, this is going to be my Fuerza-T Pantano. So I'm excited. See if this works. So first thing we're going to do is take all of the arm pieces out. Let's pop this thing that I made, which is funny because I had it at more of an angle, and it keeps bending back to the way it was. There we go. Once this starts taking some of the color, you know it's about time. We got to dye those green later. Put that in there. So I'm not too worried about these parts. This is hands, so we're going to drop those in. That. He had a second hand. I don't remember. Oh, you know, I put it up for the other guy. Let's take this off. As I said, since I only paid $5 for these, I feel a lot less worried about the flocking coming off. The worst case scenario is all of the flock just comes directly off of this. So, we'll see. We shouldn't need to dye most of this very long. His head is the exception to that rule. Because if we put that in there, we do need to dye this part. So hopefully these don't take too long. The crotch piece is another one that's a little scary. So we're going to try to do what we can to dye most of it at once. I do recommend if you are dyeing any of these figures that you pull the legs back like this to allow most of the figure to get the dye. Hello, Eric. Welcome to the exciting world of dyeing flocked characters. So I'm going to turn this down because I don't think we're going to need quite the heat that these normally need to dye this. In fact, the hands are doing pretty good taking the dye. I do need to do one other thing, which this is where it gets scary because I don't know how much of this I should add, but it's the acetone. That's what burns up every time. I'm dyeing Mossman because it's something we need to do. This is for science. Sometimes if you want to make an omelet, you gotta break a few eggs. Which is what I'll be doing after this, is making an omelet. So let's see. Of course, I lost a hand in here. There it is. Well, that is definitely taking the dye better than I thought it would. So here we go. Fingers crossed that this doesn't just explode into madness here. I'm gonna put this one in. No, I'm trying not to take the fur off of Mossman. I just want to dye him brown. But the problem is what I'm noticing with a lot of this stuff is you do anything and the dye, it just turns black every time for these figures. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe I got to dilute it more. We'll figure it out. All right, let's put this over here. I don't want that to get on anything else. You know what I don't have? I don't have a rinsing bowl, so I should probably do that right now. A nice rinsing bowl. Rinse that bowl. So getting a nice rinsing bowl will allow us to dip this guy in. So as I kind of thought, the Mossman head itself needs a different attention. Looks like everything else here, though, dyed pretty well. So let's try to get this. See you, Brick. Thanks for that. Yeah. This is definitely experimentation. This is as experimental as this stuff gets. Like, can you dye a flocked figure without completely destroying it? That is this guy is very moist. I'm gonna flip this. Yeah, I'm doing a different project with that head. So now I gotta flip it over and dye this side. Every time you dye one of these, you gotta do all the joints a little longer, which is super annoying because they're the one thing that, like, doesn't really take to the dye too well. So let's drop that in there. Let's pull this guy out. Let's try drying this guy off. I mean, so far the flock is staying on, which was what was scaring me to begin with. It's a little darker than I'd prefer, but you can see it's kind of brown. I think the green that's underneath is actually what you're looking at here. Yeah, I think Brick's at work or something. All right, so that's good. It got enough, but you see the backs there. I'm just gonna paint those. Usually I use just a Sharpie of that same color. All in all, not too bad. For my first shot at trying to dye this stuff. It's actually nice. It gives it a nice gross look. So Pantano is the one of the characters on Fuerza-T. It is, if you're unfamiliar with that, the company in Argentina that licensed to do He-Man back in the day just decided in the 2000s to do it without the license because the 2000 He-Man show was on. And they're like, we can make money off this. So they made their own He-Man team. Well, Mattel shut that down real quick. Wow, he looks real good. It's a little darker than I was hoping, but I think I could probably do some dry brushing and fix that. Ta-da! Now he's brown. Browner, I guess. Let's get this all done. All right, time to pull this one out. Hopefully it worked. Yep, looks like we're good. Did I get both? I don't think I did. If you're going to do this dyeing too, I highly recommend, I must have got them both, buying one of these. It's $1 at $1.25 at Dollar Tree. If you have those, Dollarama probably has it too. If you're in Canada. But yeah, as you see, the green just wasn't taking it. But I didn't want to leave it in there too long and then ruin the flocking. So I'm actually pretty impressed because this flocking is pretty awesome. I may have to do this to more of these. Unfortunately, you can't really dye things lighter, so it would have to be a brown, a black. Might be able to pull a blue off, so we might try to do that, and I might send that to a certain robo to harass him with a blue flocked Mossman. As I said, I bought quite a few of these $5 ones because I actually was expecting this first round to go horrible, and destroy this. So the fact that it didn't, I'm very happy about. In a perfect world, and I might still do it, I might try to do this in red and actually make a flocked Mossman. Or not flocked Mossman, a flocked Beastman. So we will see how that goes in due time. All right, let's pull this out. The only problem that I have right now with this is that my space to do this isn't the best, but I can't do it down in the basement where I have my normal workshop because it'll drive me nuts. All right. I'm actually pleasantly surprised with how this is coming out. Try this part off. Now I'm going to look around and see if there's anything else that I did want to dye brown. I don't believe so. Let's see what color this turned to. Ooh, look at that ugly mug. So as I worried, now mind you, I am going to go over this with a dry brush. When this is all dried, it did, because I needed to dye the face, it did dye the hair darker. So if you look here, it goes from brown to like dark. So that is a problem. Maybe next time I just dye this all together, and this part, I just paint it brown, because that is a little darker than I would prefer. It's not terrible. It actually looks really different on the screen, but in person it's barely noticeable. So we'll see. See how it looks once it's all done. I think it's because it actually dyed the under part as well, where this has the green that shines through. Do I have another one? I think I have another opened Mossman head. Yep, I do. So I got another Mossman head here. We're going to try and see if I can do this a little less dark. Maybe I'll use that other head for something else. I don't know. So we're going to see if this works. Luckily, I had one from that other, the cat head still. So how's everyone's morning? I'm still trying to get a lot of these Fuerza-Ts done, as well as a couple of other things that I'm working on. I'm also going way deeper in Fuerza-T than I think most people want to. If you're unawares, there's about 4. Let's pull that out right now. You know what? That's good enough for me. That is dark enough. Oof. If you're unawares, there's 4 extra figures that were never made for the Fuerza-T line. They're pretty cool. So I'm just going to have to paint this face. It's dark enough for my tastes. I might just leave it like that. But this matches the other head. So see how much darker this one is? So we might have to save that for another guy. Another guy. Ta-da! Ain't he neat? Pantano is good. We're going to leave that at that. Looking around, I'm looking around, and I don't see any other things that I need to dye brown aside from this one. This guy, I'm not sure I'm even going to bother doing that today. So let's actually just, because this is the one that needs to be tan. It doesn't need to be brown. So I'm going to probably take half of that out, dilute it, and then put a whole bunch of water in, and hopefully that works. So while we're letting this cool down, we're going to heat up some more stuff for more figures. We've got this piece that I dyed a couple days ago. Normally, I would just use a boiling water thing over here while I'm doing this, but for whatever reason, I just don't want to have multiple burners going at once. Honestly, we're not doing that. So this is part of one of the 4 unproduced Fuerza-T toys. Those ones are getting pieced together much slower than the originals. For multiple reasons. Mostly because the parts are just kind of coming to me here and there. And then we're also going to be using different parts. So it's a little bit of a thing. So the weird part about this guy is that he goes from like blue to like light blue to dark. You'll see it when, actually I got a picture right here. I printed the picture out. So that's him right there. That's Infector, as they're calling him. I don't know if he's ever had real names, but this is what the fan community gave him. He's got it's pretty much like the other ones, where it's the Beastman body, but they did a lot more painting and different coloring. This might have been a test shot, but I don't care. I think it's hilarious, so we're going to do it anyway. Here we've got, I believe his name is Silvar, which is funny because the only thing he's got that's silver is 1 foot. That is where this beautiful beast comes in. So we're going to paint him up with his avatar-looking paint scheme here. I have no idea what the back looks like. Doesn't really matter, but that's what we're going to give him. And then this one is Spector, I think is what his name is. I mean, it's something like that. Not to be confused with the Toy Guru guy. And then that's Goldar. I don't have much anything done for him. But these ones are pretty much well on their way to being something. So I know one very special watcher will like those. The rest are kind of just strewn about. Let's clean this up a little bit, since I did have a little bit of a leeway here. This was my tub that I did the Battle Cat in. That's going to be the catch-all tub from now on. Get rid of my rinse water. Now I've got a charger pot over here. We're going to stick this over here so it can properly cool down. Get rid of this guy. Wipe up any excess. Oops. And this is now unplugged, so we can move this out of the way. Still a little bit hot. I don't like putting this on my carpet because I feel like it's going to just cook the carpet. So we're going to wait a minute for that. Then we're going to take a look at this guy. So for this guy, this is, if you're unfamiliar, his Dar, the Beastmaster. I'm using just the basic. There's a little story behind this, and I will give this at another time. But I'm using the basic 2000X He-Man. On this arm, I wrapped some vinyl, so it's nice and on there. I might try to cure it, put some super glue on around it and see if that seals it in there. But on this arm, he's got it for his bird, the bird back here. So then I can snap him on here. There's a spot. There it is. So I can snap him on there, and he can hold the bird. That's the reason for it. But I actually kind of like the bird to be on the tiger's tail there. It's been a while since I watched Beastmaster. I have. It's on Amazon Prime, but I don't have Prime right now, so I'm just gonna order a DVD. This satchel is from Longshot. Yeah, I think it's Longshot. It's a bunch of Marvel Legends have these, but this is where he keeps his 2 ferrets, which I gotta learn how to paint these better. I'm not great at painting miniatures, but I got one of them, and the other one I gotta order. Yeah, and then the boots are just from a Sunman guy that I cut the diamond out. That now the one thing that's kind of funny is Beastmaster here. Oof. In the first movie in particular, that's the only one I'm going off of. He kind of looks the same in all of them. In the first movie, they were trying to hire a Luke Skywalker looking guy for a Barbarian movie. So they've hired this guy, Mark Singer, who is essentially a cheaper... he's a cheaper... Mark Hamill. So Mark and Mark. Kind of weird. Hilariously, the 2000X He-Man toy was always called like the Mark Hamill toy. But if you look at him, it almost kind of looks like Mark Singer too. So that's why I wanted to use the 2000X He-Man. But one of the things that I need is the 2000X Skeletor crotch. So I got a bunch of these on sale. I think Big Bad Toy Store had a sale on them. Like a bunch of places did. For like $5. So we're going to take old Skelly apart. That should still be hot enough to dye this. So we're actually going to dye this in the preheated goo to make it more brownish. It's going to get paint regardless because that. But now I've got this Skeletor crotch that I can deal with and make some more stuff on. I think I actually need one of these for, yeah, Spector or whatever the hell his name is. He's supposed to be like the Fuerza-T version of Scareglow. There he goes. Which I have right here. Now, if you looked at the this is what I'm going with. This is a Roddy Piper crotch. I can't remember where the crotch comes from. But I'm using these for stand-ins right now. Until I can source a Mossman, I'm going to need an extra Mossman and an extra, maybe Scareglow. I don't know. I'm just going to kind of go as I can until I can find the right parts. But this is definitely a part that I needed to put on him, because he does have the regular Skeletor chest. But having the 2000X head really makes it different than regular Skeletor. And then, of course, I got to paint these. And I got to find feet and hands that are going to work appropriately. But this is how I keep figures from, like, losing. I just put as much of it as I can together. Sometimes I'll use, like, fake bucks and stuff like that just to kind of get it through there. All right. Toss that over there. So now that I got that big pot and I did this, I'll be able to dye other things like vehicles. I got a whole bunch of these vehicles that I need to dye. This is for another project. I just can't stop making projects. I have to finish a couple things so that they're no longer on the plate that I had already started. And this was one of them. Thundar was another, but we'll figure that out when that time comes. You know what I hate is I go to pull these out sometimes and the bottom part sticks in. So then I gotta pull them out like this. And there's that head you were talking about, Eric. So this was, oh, jeez. This was the failed one that I did for Destructor. He just got too dark. I did purple first, then blue, and I just needed to do blue and paint it a little. So, live and learn. But I was going to dye this head and have him be this head for this. But I think I'm actually going to switch that up. And we're going to put that on here. And he's just going to have a flocked head for this version, which is going to be a little weirder than usual. So, but this is going to look real nice. I think I'm going to dye these red instead. But this is going to be another Beast Man guy right there. Because I made this previously. If you have Snake Infiltrator, I think it is. I didn't care for that. I thought that was a big waste of space. So I took everything off of space. Snake Infiltrator. This I saw Hebro do. He did this. But I'm actually giving this guy a name. This is Bogmaster. And he is a beast man who has the ability to control the slime. Not the slime itself, but like, you know, the slime pit. He has the ability to control creatures created from the slime pit. So he's like kind of like a hybrid Mossman and Beastman. So that's where he is. The Bogmaster. I love the idea of it, so we're just gonna go. And he's a nifty little dude. I actually have the small, I don't know where it went. The small slime pit He-Man that I usually have him holding as if he's using it like as a voodoo doll. And that's why we got that. But this one's gonna get probably dyed blue because I want to make a monkey of every color, like a Super Sentai monkey team. And this guy's going to be part of that with his darker head. He fits in way better with this one. And then we're going to give this guy a ridiculous paint job. But first we got to do is dye these and this red. I think I'm going to go red because is Beastman's red? Oh, I wanted to have it a different color. Maybe I'll dye this green. Dye his weapons green. I also, oh shoot, I forgot I needed to dye his other hand a different color. So let's toss that in here too. Because I dyed the other hand, but once I gave him both of these Mechanic things as like beating weapons, I decided I wanted to do that. All right. Where is, oh, you know what? We're going to drop that back in there. Forgot I threw out the napkin. If you ever go to Sam's Club, BJ's, any of those places, pick up some of these. These are lifesavers. Ugh. Let's hope that that passively, I don't have my rinse thing anymore. Let me go rinse this off in the sink. Oftentimes when I'm doing these live streams, I feel like I'm that one guy who like is messing with electricity, and he constantly like electrocutes himself or shocks himself, I guess. Yeah. You never know what I'm going to do. That's weird. This clicked. Still a little bit warm. So then we've got Dar, the Beastmaster. I think I have to change his hair too, because the hair color is a little different. But this is to differentiate him from just He-Man. He does have that. Now, I wanted to keep He-Man face for most of my Barbarians, and whenever possible. I'm doing a whole line of Barbarians, specifically ones from 80s movies, because they are wonderful. I do have to find him a sword. I looked, and I should be able to maybe source one from a couple different places, but for now, we're good. So, we're going to put this in the green pile. Now, I have the green dye right here. I try not to do multiple colors of dye in one day because I did dye something incorrectly last time, and I don't want to do that again. So I try to do one color at a time. This guy's going to be blue. I have to find another more naked Stratoses. I'm using as many of those as I can. So that is also my other thing with this, is to use as many of those stupid naked Stratoses as humanly possible. So, now that this guy is sort of ready, we're going to do the next thing that I was going to do with him. And we're going to give him, I wanted to give a couple of these guys some ceremonial robes. So that's going to be coming up soon. Where's my Batman at? All of these figures just keep falling back behind there. I got a bigger TV I'm going to put in that place. Maybe I'll do that today, so that it fills that whole space and I don't have to worry about that. Let me know what you think of this, these projects, because I keep making more projects for myself, and then I'm like, well, I don't want to make too many projects, but I'm unemployed right now, so if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it? I'm waiting for my severance check from work so that I can invest that money, not all of it, just a little bit, into my toy business. Which, if you're seeing this, I hope you are going to give me some funds on that. The initial run might just be some weapons for figures like this. It might also be other things, but we'll figure that out once we're done. Cool. All right. So that. Here's Infector's head. This actually, it's funny. I have two different guys I got to dye for that. I need to make a bin that just says what color I need to dye what. All right, this feels like it should be cool enough now. That I won't melt the floor. We don't want that because this has to get green. All of this has to be green. Oh, you know what? That's going to make these two look too much the same. This is what I'm running into with this. So this is going to be green for Pantano. I need another color to do this. And I don't think that blue is going to work well with it. Maybe I just do all of it black? I don't know. I'll figure that out later. Let's put this together. So there. This is the next thing that I gotta dye for Infector. I'm using actually the clawful arm because I like the way this looks better. And then I got the Jimmy Ricky the Dragon Steamboat chest, which I think this is from Classics. But anyway, that's going to be for the Infector because he's got these extra spikes here that just look badass. And it'll keep these two guys from looking too similar. And then we're actually going to do a full gradient from light blue up and out. So this guy's going to get a lot more paint than usual. Thanks whoever just liked the video. Dar's going to get brown. This guy's got to get the face. So let's move this over to here. The Beastmaster. We'll paint him up later. He's almost done. He just needs a weapon. So we will be doing a lot of weapons in the future. All right, there's that. I'm going to look up what the tiger's supposed to look like over here on my handy dandy iPad. All right, this is Beastmaster, black tiger. This is one of those ones where it's real lucky that he used the tiger and not like a lion. Actually may have been a lion. Who knows? But they literally dyed a lion black for this. And it's slightly silly. And then I think in the second one, they like killed it off real quick and just used a regular tiger. And then the third one, I think he literally just has a regular lion. So it was funny because when you're watching this, here, that's what the tiger looks like. It's just black. If you see other pictures, you can actually see the stripes are a slightly different color because all they did was just use some dye, like hair dye, on this animal. I don't think it was permanent, but it was the 80s, so who knows. But if you look here, because of the paint, it actually did the same color. So it dyed the plastic, but the paint got dyed a different color, which is literally perfect. I couldn't have asked for any better because it gives that same feel that the lion did back then. So really all that I got to do now is I got to paint the mouth, of course. So we're going to do that right now. And then we're going to paint the face. The eyes, I believe, are yellow. See if I can find a better picture. Yeah, they are definitely yellow. And then there's a little bit of white underneath the eye there. That's nothing terrible. So I'm actually going to do the white parts. Right there and there. Where the hell are my paints? Where the hell are my paints? one of the problems with being me is that you have the uncanny ability to lose paint and other things that are right next to you. There's my Citadel Mephiston red. And then I also have Blood Angels red for a finisher. His nose is a little pink, so we may have to find very, very light pink. I got right here. Do a dry brush on that. Show you how to do some dry brushing. That's it. So we're going to start with that pink. Do a pink dry brush on the little kitty's nose. My little kitty. So for dry brushing, you have a couple options. This is a hard enough plastic I could probably use enamel on and it wouldn't matter. I think this part and like these three pieces are the softer plastic, and I think this is the softer plastic. When you dye stuff, sometimes it changes it, but most of this guy is hard plastic. Now, I'm not going to worry about the rest of this. The other thing that I was going to do is if I get another Battle Cat at some point, or maybe I'll do it with a Panther. I was going to dye another one black and try to repaint the whole thing orange, like an orange tiger, like the big Jim orange tiger. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'm kind of annoyed that Mattel Creations has not been like, hey, let's do a big Jim out of the regular Battle Cat. Like, it's literally what it came from. So you think that they would jump on that, but I don't work for them, so I can't make those decisions. So this little light pink here, we're going to take a little bit more, and instead of just going directly on it, we're going to wipe most of it off onto the thing down here. And this is what's called dry brushing. Ooh, as I throw the brush like an idiot. What this does is it puts a minimal amount of paint on it. Looks like this kind of just goes right along the rim. Yeah, I need some more paint, actually. Too dry brushing. You see, it gets the illusion that it's there. I might need a little more paint, actually. I wiped too much off. So we're going to do that again. Yeah, it's too much still. And this is the problem I see with a lot of people's painting, is that they just go too hard all the time. They're at 11 the whole process, which is fine if you need to paint like a large area or something. Sometimes that's all you need. So that's pretty much what I was looking for. Let's see if I can get just a little darker on the edge there. It's way easier to make something a little more dark than it is to lighten something up when it comes to these kind of paints. A couple other things you can do is just do that and then we'll smear it. Look at that. Meow. So I've got his nose pretty good how I want it. I'm going to go rinse this off. Luckily, I got a thing nearby, so not too bad. And then I might do the eyes next. Got to get a yellow. You know what we'll do? I've got bone white here. Or skull white, sorry. And I got gray here. So this borax white borax white. It's very nice, not Borat white. Borax white is really good for primering stuff. So I'm going to primer his eyes and maybe even his teeth, so that when I do the actual white, they look a little better. Teeth aren't, I'm probably going to use the bone white, where I don't know where the hell that is. Oh, here it is. This, it's bleached bone. It is a better color for that. Sometimes you got to bleach that bone. So we're going to start off with this. It's a better... Ooh, that's got to get mixed. There we go. And then while we're doing that, I'm also going to look up and see. So I need a little bit there. Let's open another page here. And I want to look up Pantano Fuerza-T. I can't remember what color his eyes are. I think he's got different colored eyes. So yeah, his are like a... Yeah, so he's got white eyes and white teeth. So we're going to do that while we're at it on this guy. There we go. As I said, this is way better to do for primering stuff that you want to be a different color. I don't know about playing with them, but I definitely don't. I'm not that guy that just leaves them up there. I'll pose them around sometimes. I don't need to dry brush this one, but that was way too much stuff on here. The other thing that's nice, since I'm using acrylics, is that when I'm done with this, I can use a very fine, either like a pin or a or like a razor blade, and actually go through and delete a lot of that. So we're going to do his lips as well. You just scrape off the excess, I guess, is the... You got to do it within the first day, though. Sometimes acrylic will literally lock just as bad as enamels. No, I don't do stop motion. I don't have time for that. With a million years, I don't have time for that. I might do some like ghetto style stop motion though eventually. Ooh, hey, dropped him. He survived. But yeah, I'm definitely not doing regular stop motion. All right, back to the kitty. So for this part, let's get a little bit more liquid water there. We're gonna do his under eye and the actual eye, and he's got pretty small eyes compared to what the Battle Cat has here. So I'm going to try to make him a little smaller, a little less. There. Problem is where I need to do this is right below me. And I did not feel like cleaning up down there. All right, come on. Do it right here. That should work. That looks good. A little less large than the previous Battle Cat head. We're going to wipe most of this off. And then up here, I'm going to give him a little bit of a white around there. Ta-da! And then what else am I missing? Do a brighter white on that. Let's do this part. So he's got pretty white teeth here. Tiger. Birdie. All right. Ooh, maybe I should do a Kung Pao and Under the Fist version. If you have a favorite Barbarian TV show, action figure, whatever, please leave it in the comments below. I am going to be doing a bunch. Thundar is getting done. He's pretty much done already, so don't bother putting Thundar. Trying to decide which one I'm going to do next. I might do a Conan. I don't know. I kind of wanted to buy the Super 7 one when it was on sale, but I didn't have money at that point at all. And now it's not on sale, and I kind of don't want to buy it until it goes back on sale. Also, anybody else go to look at the clearance section at Entertainment Earth to find out that it's just completely gone? It's weird. Like, they must have sold all the clearance, or they literally just vaporized it. Maybe people were stocking the clearance too much and not purchasing product, which honestly was what I was doing. I would buy clearance stuff, and then I would find things that I had at Big Bad Toy Store on pre-order, and then just switch the pre-order to them. Because that pile of loot is a reason why I do that. If they ever got rid of pile of loot, I'd be done. I would never order from Big Bad Toy Store. Pile of loot and then $4 flat rate shipping is like 90%. Even though, and this is the thing, you will be paying about $1 more per figure. You are nearly guaranteed to always get the figures unless the company cancels it, which I can't even say about like Target and Walmart. Like, that last Walmart Collector Con was a shit show. I'm done. Done. Mattel, stop doing Walmart exclusives. And if you're going to, be like, we have to We have to deal with it, not them. All right, that's looking better. That's another one down. Put that in the discard pile. That'll be one of the last things we do. We don't want to do the red yet because I do want to go over this a little more. But that is looking a lot better. A little annoying because Battle Cat looks like more like just a big kitten. He's got his ears down, but like I'd like ears up so he looks like a tiger, you know, once or twice. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. All right. So we're going to use Skull White on the face up here. I'm going to wipe this off a little bit. Luckily, it doesn't need to be too crazy because they're very close colors. Skull White. Yes. And this one I'm not going to bother doing the dry brush part because I do want a lot more here. So it looks like we got a bunch there. Too much on there now. There we go. It's pretty good. Dab off some of that. That's pretty darn good. All right, dab a little more. So it looks like we have a separation right there. So yes, if you guessed Beastmaster on Instagram to my little poll, you were correct. That's starting to look like the kitty. Now we're going to get just a regular dab of white. We got to go to give him his eyeliner here, which is just hilarious that exists on this poor tiger. So I remember seeing Beastmaster 1 a lot. And my mom always made me stop watching before very one particular scene where certain characters die. Because I got very emotional as a child. And looking back, Beastmaster 2 was kind of garbage. It was one of those ones, I think it was Canon Films, and they kind of just made terrible stuff all the time. But part 2 was essentially like, rewind that. Let's rewind that. So everyone remembers the Masters of the Universe live action movie and the parts that sucked about it. Well, Canon made that movie as well. I believe this was a Canon movie. I may be wrong on that. Don't quote me. Anyway, Canon made that movie they didn't have the budget, so they're like, let's, instead of putting it in Barbarian World, we're going to put it in the real world. Well, that's exactly what they did with Beastmaster 2. Beastmaster 1 takes place in like an old sword and sorcery. You don't even know if this is Earth. 2 is literally just Earth. And they took out all the cool stuff about part 1 and made it just like the Master of the Universe movie. Now, I don't know which one came out first, but they're both pretty much the same movie on that aspect. It was Beastmaster 2, A Portal Through Time. Now, I think it might have been the second one, because when someone made the third one, it was back to sword and sorcery. So I don't know what the hell's going on with that whole company. Very strange goings on there. All right. This guy's going to have bright yellow eyes just like that. So we are kind of doing the same thing. Look at that. It's almost like I planned this or something. Weird. Let's get this bleached bone here. The bleached bone is going to only go for the teeth. Because that kind of makes them look a little more like teeth. So we're going to take that back out. Dry brush that. No, I too dry brushed it. Let's start with the kitty, because he's got a little more teeth to actually paint. This gives it a little more realistic, not quite as perfect teeth. Perfect, get it? And then it'll stand out from the other parts, so he doesn't look quite as monochrome from the face. And that was way too much paint. I don't have any brown washes, but if I was going to do this, try to make it look a little more realistic, I would take a brown wash and then wipe it from bottom to top of, from the base of the tooth to the top in darkness. But we're not going to go that far. This is a toy. It's not a commission or anything like that. Commissions, I'll do a little more. All right. And now you can see it does look a little bit different. Here, we'll zoom in there. A little bit different than the face, therefore giving it some depth to that. And there we go. So now even he looks a little different. Now that this is what I call staging. I don't know if there's actually a thing for it, but it makes it so that you actually stage your paints, so you don't have to constantly be cleaning this brush. I did it for the pink because I didn't want any of the pink to go over to the white. This is a little less, I don't know, violent, is if you go from like light white to slightly darker to yellow. Because this is where the danger starts hitting. So this is where your metal is tested. Ta-da! And then what I'll do is I'll put the red over the rest of it once we're done. One nice thing too is specifically the Fuerza-T guys. They're all supposed to have night vision, but then they were given not cat eyes. Like cats and lizards have night vision, I believe, because they have slotted eyes. Big cats, however, do not. So it's one of those weird situations where, like, sometimes big cats are given the wrong eyes. Like the thunder cats, it's all wrong. All wrong. Now, mind you, they are sentient beasts, not jungle cats, but domesticated cats are the only ones with lizard eyes because they are lizards. They are lizards that formed into cats instead of. They're closer to the evolution than I think we think they are. Because why would they have? That's what weirds me out. Why do they have? Why do they have eyes like that? Big cats don't. If we supposedly domesticated these things, I'd like to see. I know there are some cats that do have circle eyes though, but I'd love to see like where that evolutionary step was skipped, where suddenly like big cats don't have them. And how big does it hit? Like bobcats, I think they have slotted eyes. I'm gonna have to do some touch up on this eye, but looks pretty good still in comparison to what I could be doing. Doing this by hand is also a pain in the butt, by the way. Okay. So that looks a lot better than I was expecting it to. I'll be honest with you. So now I got to wash this off because we're switching to the reds. The reds. Pantano there is looking pretty darn good. I took that and I didn't take the thing I wanted. Good job. That one's done. Put that back here. We're not using her no more. Just shake it, sugar, shake it. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. All right. So for the tiger, the mouth is going to be pretty basic, just like a tiger's mouth would be. We're going to give the tongue the lighter, I believe, and then the outside the brighter mix. Yeah, Panther or something. That's kind of what they were going for. That was the other fun thing about the Beastmaster series is like one of the big complaints about Masters of the Universe, the movie. No battle cat, no Orko, no nothing. And they're like, oh, well, it would just cost too much. Cool. You did it for Beastmaster. And it didn't have a giant toy line behind it. So what's going on here, buddy? A giant, already successful toy line. It's very strange. That whole movie situation was very, very weird back then. The choices that they made. And, Now, mind you, I love it now, but back then I was very angry. I was the first actual movie I ever saw was Masters of the Universe in the theater. My aunt took us, my aunt, and my cousins loved it. I was angry the whole time. She mentioned it, that I was angry the whole time, because I was like, where's Orko? Where are all of these characters that are beloved to me? In the He-Man in the 80s, it was okay to buy a miss. But they missed a whole lot of people. Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I was expecting everything. I was expecting every single possible character that has ever been in Masters of the Universe. That's a little far-fetched. I mean, even other movies, I don't know. I think it's because if you see an animated movie from back then, they did put everybody in. Transformers was like, let's put everyone in there. They killed half of them, but or more than half, but they put them in there. But even the Transformers movie fell from that. Like there were, aside from Devastator, there was no other combiners, and that's because just they were making the movie at the same time that they're making like season 2 and 3. So, it's a mess. It's all a mess. That's why as much as people hate on Marvel movies, they at least attempt to do some continuity. You know, attempt. Whew. Sorry. Oh, I just realized that the thing was still. All right, close that. No, I don't want to stop streaming. I want to close the stupid chat. There, so I can zoom out. All right, looking pretty good. Looking pretty panthery. Let's get this going. Let me see where it was on there. Pantano. Pantano. So it looks like he's got an upper lip, and then under his eyes, he's got some red. So we're going to actually go in his mouth red first. Ooh, I need more paint. Cool. It's good enough for me. So I did his mouth and his under lip that color. I'm going to close this up. And we're going to move on to the Blood Angels Red. One of my favorite colors to use for these things. I don't even know if half these colors are even available anymore. This stuff's like 20 years old. Like, that's not even a joke. It doesn't have a date on it, but it's like easily from the early 2000s. Some of them I'll open them up and they don't have paint anymore. They're just dried up. But most of them are still running pretty good. That's why I don't feel bad spending like $8 on these, because these things last forever. So let's get his top lip. Yep, different color. Awesome. Definitely gonna work. That's why I also did the primer on this because I really wanted it to stand out. Look at that ugly mother. You one ugly mother. All right. We got under here. Look at this guy. This is terrifying. What the hell? All right, Fuerza-T, we get it. You made some weird stuff there. That is horrible. Horrible. All right. Let's get this mouth done. I am very happy with this so far. So let's hope this continues in the mouth. So I'm going to give this tongue a dry brush of the lighter color of the Blood Angels red. You know what? It's bright outside. I don't know what. Alexa, what's the temperature outside?
Right now, it's 56 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, expect a low of 48 degrees.
There you go.
Okay.
Shit, I got some on this. That's fine. I'll just go over that. I'll have to go back over that in a minute. That dry brushing down. Give it some texture. Look at that. Aside from me being a goofball there, pretty good. And for all intents and purposes here, that's pretty darn good. So now we just got to wait for this to cure a little more. It is kind of cool here. So there are some secrets that I can tell you. What was that? Bleached bone? Yeah, bleached bone. Bona. I'm going to go rinse this off and then use some bleached bone back on that front part. That tooth. All right. See, even with that rinse, it's still got a lot of red in this. That's why I tell people all the time to, or in fact, we're going to do this too, just to get some more of that red out. Doing it in stages. It's a recommendation there. All right, that's pretty good. Do. Which is good because then I can go back over this a little bit. Gorgeous. Now, let's see if my Gundam marker still works, because actually, that was my plan the whole time. I found this Gundam marker down in my basement that this has to be equally as old. I mean, this thing might be a relic. But I have no idea if it still works. I mean, it's kind of working. So what we do next, wipe that off. Make sure I don't have nothing on me. I'm gonna wait. It feels like it's just a little bit still too damp. Okay. That should be good. This is a little trick that I learned. A little bit of heat. And you just want to make sure that it's just hot enough that it's not going to hurt your hand. You start feeling that it's hurting your hand, you're too hot. Put it on that high setting, you're going to burn that stuff out. So just let it get a little bit hot, and that'll cure it a little faster once it does cool down. It's one of the problems with being where I'm at. It's always humid and always cold. So we're going to try it with this. If this doesn't work, I will switch over to a Sharpie. Sharpies can interact with plastics weird sometimes. They can make them gummy and other things. The Gundam markers are usually pretty safe. So let's see what we got here. Let's zoom in. And since this guy's supposed to be seen in the dark, yeah, it's just not working. Oh, there we go. We're going to give him what I like to call thriller eye. Just, oh my God, that thing is horrific. I'm going to have to put a disclaimer on the front of this. Jesus, that's awful. Wow. I'm sorry for anyone who's afraid of whatever the hell I just created. We're going to pop this back on here. Give me a kiss. Oh, God, that's horrible. That is horrific. Let's check it. Now, here's the big thing. I'm done with Pantano for today. That makes me very happy. Later, I might go through and dye those green. I haven't decided if I'm going to do that yet. Wow. That's just plain terrifying. So back in the day, Sharpie made markers like this. This was the Sharpie brush. I haven't looked on Amazon recently, but back in the day they made these. These were my favorite. And if you look at them, they are literally a paintbrush. My green one finally just destroyed itself. I don't know where the black one is. That's normally what I would be using for this. But they do have thin ones, but you got to get one with the brush end. I'm still bummed that they stopped making those, or they're just not sold here. I might start looking around other countries and see if they got it. So what I do here is, wherever you've got this part coming through, it just helps to have the same color, though, or near the same color. That way, it kind of goes through the same rigmarole there. The main problem that you will run into this is sometimes it doesn't stay because of either, like this might have liquid from the dye earlier. Oh, that's not really what I want. And the weird part about these Sharpies is they kind of either work or they don't. But that Sharpie brush would work perfectly here. Just kind of hiding it. Give a little bit of hide. There. Oh, we'll have to paint his crotch, which is going to be a whole nother issue. But for the most part, we're good. Oh, looks like that didn't really stick. Well, look at this guy. Oh my God, that looks amazing. Look at his fucking face. If you know, you know. That is actually what inspired me. So it's funny. I had this all planned a while ago. I had purchased a bunch of those Stratoses that I'd found at a Target for super cheap. And then Mr. Home Arcade did his version, and I'm like, damn it, I wasn't the first out the door. But you know what I am going to be first at is making it mine. And not everybody makes these customs their own. They kind of just do a cookie cutter version, and that's all they ever do. So I decided I'm going to make it mine. Now for this, a little trick here is we want it to look like he's hunting. So with this as far down as you can, if you look at it, you want to aim it so that he's aiming out. So don't go directly in the middle for this. We're going to go slightly up here for it. And hopefully this draws on this. So it was doing it on the other one. There it goes. It just needs a little help. And then I'm going to have to go through and either scrape that extra off or something else. And then the other thing to do is flip it upside down. There you go. This one needs to be a little bigger. Near perfection. All right. Now you can't do this with all of your figures, but I will say a large majority of them, it is going to be easier on you and as a person to not try to repaint this, because what will end up happening is this will look different if you do black paint on this versus just having it regular. So what I'm actually going to do is you could use a needle. And this is something that is almost exclusive to acrylics. You try to do this with enamel, and it usually just scrapes off more than you need. The other thing you can do is cut along the line that you don't want to crack off, because what will end up happening is you'll crack more of the good stuff off than you want. It's looking pretty good. Do the same down here. So we're just gonna cut a hole right there, and then cut a hole down here, and then just scrape away with the blade. Like that. Do the same on this, since I did do a little bit of overspray on that. Cut. I learned this doing Transformer customs for too many years. The customs themselves, it would look fine, and then all of a sudden you just have one like real bad spot. There he is. This beautiful beast is done. Now sometimes I'll do this. I don't really know if I'm going to on this one or not. I'm gonna wait for this all to do, but I will put like little white dots on there with either a needle end, or I'll try real hard with this and actually do the little white dots to give him some like glare marks and stuff. Don't know if I'm gonna do that yet. Sometimes it makes it too cartoony, sometimes it makes it too real. But this is 100% what I was going for a look. Looks beautiful, wonderful. Don't know why I can paint this, and then I try to paint that stupid this, and like everything I do is wrong. So whatever. I'm not really worried about that. I can paint this thing a billion times. This was like $5 for a whole bunch of these animals, so it's not like we're going too crazy there. I do need to repaint a little bit more on the beak of this guy. I'm not going to worry about that today, but I did get him some stuff because it just looks brown all over, and that's not really what I want him to look like. And that's it. I think we're done for the day. It has been a pleasure. Glad I could get some of these. That'll be the thumbnail when I'm done, I guess. But this is beautiful. Beautiful. Came out exactly like I wanted it to. And then just keep an eye out. My Kickstarter, I might do 2. Just one to fund the other. But this is beautiful. I'm so glad that I did this today. I almost canceled again, but we're good. If you do watch this, please like, subscribe, comment. Even afterwards, I will reply. Let me know what you think. Until next time, I'm Alpha Magnus. These are toys.